Mario's 40th year anniversary is coming up. Literally on March 10th is Mario Day, and we know Nintendo typically doesn't really celebrate anything this early in the year. Most of the festivities don't even start until the end of the year around September, and that goes on into the beginning of next year as well. But Nintendo normally gives us a head start as to what to expect, and especially if there's some big games coming for the anniversary later this year, they're going to want to announce them soon. And of course, coming up in just about a month, we have the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. So maybe you're asking yourself right now, does Nintendo even care about this? Because sometimes it seems like they do care about anniversaries, and sometimes they just absolutely don't care. Like, literally, sometimes they do not care. But Mario has always been kind of the exception, at least Mario and Zelda, where for Mario, they actually started doing some real festivities around the 25th anniversary, and that's normally around the time companies start celebrating their IPs, where Nintendo actually released a special red edition of the Nintendo Wii, but also released Super Mario All-Stars, which was a classic collection pack of Super Mario Bros., The Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Bros. 3. But for some reason, Super Mario World was not there. Then for Mario's 30th anniversary, they actually released an entire new game, being Super Mario Maker, which honestly is an extremely good idea. Being a big celebration of classic Mario, being able to create and make and play other people's levels is actually really cool, and it was a big surprise to a lot of fans, and they even released 2 special amiibo with it, which was like a 3D version of 8-bit Mario in the classic colorway and the modern colorway. But Nintendo would take it to the next level once again with the Mario's 35th anniversary celebration, where they released so many things. A Game & Watch special alarm clock for Mario 3D World coming over to the Switch, but also including a brand new game mode with Bowser's Fury, a Mario 35 Battle Royale on Nintendo Online, and Mario Kart Home Circuit, which was like this cool Mario Kart RC card that you controlled with the Nintendo Switch and you actually played on the Switch. It was cool in concept, but I mean, it didn't really go that fast, and you needed like hardwood floors to benefit from the full functionality of the thing. But anyways, it was still cool, and they also released tons of like pins, merchandise, things that you could buy at Nintendo stores, and of course, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which was a collection of the 3D Mario games. But just like the classic All-Stars, leaving out one major game, this time Super Mario Galaxy 2, which we still to this day have not seen. So yeah, that 35th anniversary was pretty huge. And I remember it was coming off of a really bad year of 2020 with the quarantine and COVID and everything. It was actually really rewarding to have something like this towards the end of the year. But now we're already 5 years later. It doesn't even feel like that. It feels like we just had that 35th anniversary celebration, but clearly we are now in the year of Mario's big 4-0. Yes, Mario's 40th anniversary is now here. So what do we expect from Nintendo in this year of 2025? Well, each anniversary, it seems like Nintendo has been doing more and more for the plumber. And with the 35th anniversary being the biggest one in the best ways, having multiple games released and tons of merchandise and tons of free games online, Nintendo really needs to step it up for the 40th anniversary, and there is no doubt in my mind that Nintendo won't. In my eyes, Nintendo's already going to have one of the most successful celebrations ever. I mean, literally just looking at the fact that a brand new Mario Kart is coming next year on a brand new Nintendo console, Nintendo has 2025 set in a perfect spot for Mario's 40th anniversary. A brand new console's coming out. It's been over a decade since Mario Kart. It's been over almost 7 to 8 years since 3D Mario. Nintendo has it right in their hands. They just have to execute. Literally, if they were just releasing Mario Kart this year, that's all I think fans would care about. I mean, it's one huge Mario game. The next Mario Kart game, especially how long we've been waiting, that's really all I care about personally, and I'm sure a lot of you guys out there as well. But this year is so special, Nintendo's probably not going to just stop there. But like I just stated, a lot of people, myself included, believe that 3D Mario is actually going to be revealed and released this year as well. Could you imagine a Mario Kart and 3D Mario in the same year, in the same celebration? You really can't get bigger than that. And I think that alone is enough to excite fans and celebrate Mario in the best way possible. A huge new mainline 3D Mario game in a huge new Mario Kart? Like, are you kidding me? Really? And that's what kind of scares me, is Nintendo actually going to pull this off in the same year? Well, Mario Kart needs to come out relatively soon for this to happen, and 3D Mario needs to be announced also relatively relatively soon if this is going to be a big holiday game. So I would expect in my head that Mario Kart comes out in the summer and 3D Mario comes out as the holiday game, which would just make a lot of sense to me. Now I could also see maybe things being a little bit more pushed back than it sounds. Maybe we have to wait until the holiday to play Mario Kart, and 3D Mario's not until the beginning of next year, which would still fit both of those within that celebratory time slot, which Nintendo normally does between September and March. So maybe that's something Nintendo does instead. It's really hard to say. And I'm definitely expecting this Mario game to be one of the most ambitious Mario games we have ever seen. I think it's going to take Mario to new heights, literally by giving us just an entire open world to explore, from the skies above to the ground below to the waters underneath. It's going to be massive. It's going to take the inspiration from Bowser's Fury and just build off of a massive Mushroom Kingdom for us to explore. That's really how I feel. And with a game that massive and with Mario Kart beside it, I really don't see how there's a single possible way that this couldn't be the best anniversary of all time. Genuinely, I don't know how Nintendo would ever pass this in the future with anniversaries. This would be the cream of the crop, the top of the top. With a brand new console in the market, Nintendo could do even more. I mean, they could have tons of themes and UI things planned for the Switch 2. I hope the Switch 2 actually has UI that we can customize and give backgrounds to and wallpapers. And maybe Nintendo, with the Switch 2, just drops a bunch of Mario ones for this 40th anniversary. That would be really cool, and just tons of like icons or widgets or maybe themed folders and stuff that we can decorate our internal Switch 2 with. And maybe Nintendo even releases a special holiday bundle version of the 3D Mario and a Mario themed Switch 2, or a Mario Kart bundle with a Mario Kart themed Switch 2. I think either of those could be really special. And hey, I know those are two massive Mario games, but maybe those aren't the only Mario games we get announced. What if Nintendo takes it a step further and gives us some type of classic remake or remaster, or just straight up give us Super Mario Galaxy 2? I feel like that would be hard to do this year, considering the fact that you got a new Mario Kart, you got a new 3D Mario. Do you also give Galaxy 2? Now, I feel like the way that this could work is if it was only Mario Kart coming this year, then they could give us Mario Galaxy 2 this year, and then next year give us the 3D Mario. It's hard to say, but either way, we gotta have Galaxy 2 come eventually, right? It missed the Switch, it's gotta be on the Switch 2. And I could also see a Mario sports game making the cut. It's been about 3 years almost since Strikers Battle League, and we know how that went, so maybe Nintendo's got an actual good sports game on the way. Yep, I said it. I'm hoping for the next Mario sports game. I'm hoping personally for baseball or basketball would be great, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what Nintendo's been cooking up. And I feel like this is something that's a small little Mario spinoff that would be great to have in some of the gap months of Switch 2, where there's no big releases yet, as we wait for the big things like the 3D Mario. Now, I wanted to save these two games for last because I do feel like it's time for both of them. Both of them are approaching their 6th-year anniversary, and I'm talking about Mario Maker 2 and Luigi's Mansion 3. I think it's time for both to be released, but I, once again, don't think they're going to jam every Mario game ever into 1 year. It just wouldn't make sense. They definitely want to spread it out. So I think if we get any mention of a Mario Maker 3, or potentially even a Mario Maker 3D, it would be a trailer maybe at the end of this year in like a September Nintendo Direct, and be releasing next year sometime. I think would make a lot of sense. And Luigi's Mansion 4 could even make it in this year, considering the fact it's not technically a Mario game, it's Luigi's own thing now, and he's starting his own franchise with Luigi's Mansion, so maybe we get that announced and released either this year or next year as well, because once again, they're approaching 6 years, next year being 7 years since those games. And of course, with the Mario movie slated to release literally like a year away from when the Switch 2 Direct is going to happen, it's releasing April 3rd of 2026, Nintendo is definitely going to want to touch on this thing and start showing off trailers towards the end of this year, which is also going to fit perfectly for their 40th anniversary. So I think that makes a lot of sense to have games, merchandise, and of course even advertise for that next movie. And I'm pretty daggone sure that Nintendo is going to continue to release Lego sets based on the Mario universe like they always do, especially those bigger builds, which are always really exciting, like the Piranha Plant and Super Mario World ones we just recently got. I'm sure there's plans for 1 or 2 more that's going to release later this year, so they could also touch on those as well. I have genuinely never seen more of a perfect time frame for an anniversary for any company in any IP or franchise ever. I mean, seriously, it's time for the next movie, 2 major games in the franchise, multiple spin-offs you could have, merchandise. I mean, it is the perfect time for Mario's 40th anniversary. You couldn't write this out any better. I seriously can't wait to see what the rest of this year and the beginning of next year has in store for us. It's going to be a wild ride for sure, and I hope Nintendo kicks off some festivities on actual Mario Mario Day, which is on March 10th. Maybe they can just prepare us for some things coming or just give us a couple of hints. Something along those lines would be really awesome, but we'll find out soon in about a week or two. And of course, in about a month, we'll know exactly pretty much everything, I assume, about the rest of this year with that Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys are excited about Mario this year and the Switch 2, you'll want to stay up to date on everything that's released, so make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.